Generators don't always go too fast. You might just be wasting a ton of time. In today's bootcamp, we have a Plague player. While losing a little bit of time in their chases, they lose a lot more time between their chases getting into the next engagement, and that is what ends up halting the match and inevitably getting the loss. Can hear you through the stream? Yeah, we could do your feedback through stream. Yeah, I got you, my guy. I need help with losing survivors. Okay, so we're going to talk about tracking. Okay. I get mad a lot, especially good Swifts. Okay. All right. Good map. Jesus, this spectate bug. There's... okay, well, it's not loads better, but it's kind of better. Good scratches, good tracking, going right to left. A little ambitious. I think they were a little far. Push them into the corner. There was somebody that went to the right, so there's two people here. Pallet vomit's not a bad idea. They're good. They're good. They're not running it too wide. They're running a little wide on the end there. That's actually kind of best case scenario. Survivors push to the outside corner. Ooh, don't want to M1 there. You definitely want to go for vomit if you can. He's already building infection at a decent rate because he's running. You build infection faster if you're running or working on something than if you're crouching or walking. So they get middle though. Okay, not bad. He pushed them to the middle though. That gives the survivor a lot of opportunities to run to other pallets versus if he'd rotated him back towards the corner. That gave him few opportunities. So something we could talk about. Good vault. Good double back chase. He's going to run the outside edge. Yeah, Plague's weapon's definitely stiffer than a Swiffer right now. Rakeem, how you doing? So when you start off as Plague, especially if you're playing Plague, you really don't want to commit, in my opinion, to too many chases too early. You really want to get kind of as many people sick and infected as you can. Oop. Little map knowledge there. The other thing is very much like a lot of... There's... What happened? Is that a flashbang? Why was... the locker's infected because of Vittorio, but why did Vittorio get in it? Fascinating. The thing about Plague also is you have to understand how much distance you have on a survivor, so... Nice. There's Bright Wolf. They should be damn near fully infected. I think Enduring is very solid on Plague. If you go for those vomit hits. Damn. Not quite fully infected. There we go. Smart. Charging it a little longer. Watching Plague on... God, watching Plague on Spectate is such a nightmare. Fire Up? Yeah, Fire Up's pretty underrated. I respect the hell out of that. Faster pickup, harder flashlights. Well, I don't know. Flashlights are so easy now. Yep, vomit on the gen. That's smart. Vittorio's up in the house. He didn't hear that though. So having a headset in this case is really important. I know that sucks, but yeah, there's actually an infected either Vittorio, maybe Felix up in main building. They're gonna drop out, get that unhook in the next 2-3 seconds. Yeah, there it is. So a little bit of wasted time here. Infecting that doesn't make sense when 3 people are already fully infected. So there's a little bit of a time management, like not quite understanding the overall pace. Not understanding, but maybe not seeing full scope of what they could be doing. So stopping chase to kick the gen doesn't make sense. I'd almost be willing to bet somebody's right back on it. They are going to try to cut them off here. Oh, for a second, I thought they might get it too. They need to drink. Yeah, they need to build some good pressure. This is a good way to break off. That's a pebble. Don't fall for that shit. That's a pebble. Go back to the main building, Jen. Yep, there's multiple people here. Charge that Vomula. Oh, see, we don't... I hate that method. A lot of people say to do that, of like... sweeping like that. It's such a bad way to play Plague. I don't think you should typically do that. The way Plague works is there's dots. There's the visual trail, but in that trail there's dots, and when you sling it like that, you spread those dots a little thin. You can actually miss some fairly easy shots by spreading it out like that. You have to be really careful. Okay. Oof. Brutal Strength, Bamboozle, and Lightborn, all in one perk. I would drink again. Yeah, you don't have. I don't think you have a lot of time to be not. Scratch is here though, but we tracked him backwards. The scratch actually weird. The scratches were coming towards the killer. He walked by them. They were fading back to front. Yeah, this will trip him up a bit. We could talk about this. Is a good thing to talk about. A lot of people aren't really sure what old scratches look like. Oh, that was very close. And what new scratches look like. So I think actually the big thing here is knowing where to place yourself on the map. I think that is kind of in prioritizing what action comes next. I think those are the big things. Dwight, nice. Good spray there. Flashlights are pretty crazy for what they could do. Flashlights are pretty crazy, but generally they're the weakest item in the game. Just because they don't... Generally, you can avoid their effect. Oh, why are we walking away? That's... Oh, we're worried about Jen, so we're gonna go Jen defend. So we invested all that time into that chase with Dwight for nothing. It's kind of tough. Oh, that's rough. Okay. So they came back here because they saw JC earlier. But the thought process would be, I know that Jen in the corner had a ton of progress. That's probably where somebody would return to after Deadlock is gone. Like, that's where my brain is going right now, right? What do you think about that idea, chat? Of like, well, this is the last place that was like a hot zone. I don't think people would just give up on 60% of a Gen, you know? I don't know if I go for the M1 there. Nope, he went to the right. There you go. Good job. You hear it to the right, but you also see scratch marks, and there's no way he'd go out and then come back in. Generally, they're going to take the momentum. Yeah, so somebody came back here. The Gen kick meta is really strong right now. It's one Gen left. I understand kicking, but when there's one Gen left and the Gens are spread across the map, kicking doesn't matter. Because this one that you're slowing down, someone's on a different one. So at this point, it's not really helpful. Stop spreading it thin like that. Ah! So has a Gen that far along and locked, they'll go back. Yeah. Not a moth. That's good. Has some... Yeah, so I want your opinion on this, chat. So when you were newer, did you focus on one part of the... When you were looking at the screen, do you just focus on one part of the screen? Or are you... And as you got better... For me, I always felt like I started running my eyeballs kind of all over everything. And kind of seeing, like... Looking at all corners of the screen. I'd actually want to get an eye tracker to see... what the difference is maybe there. The DPI, so they're doing it on purpose. Someone along the way made a video about playing Plague and told everyone they should do this when they vomit, and it's a bad idea. It's far better, in my opinion, to be like a little bit more precise. Or if you're gonna do that, do it to like a lesser extent a little, but slow drags. Yeah, that's, you know, it's good cigarette advice. Don't smoke, kids. Kind of overplaying that. Got lucky, actually. They were going to break away for... Nice. They were going to break away for the Gen. And Dwight just happened to bail. So that kind of works out. One part where I started a tunnel vision type thing. Smoking, you'd be sick like these survivors. Sick as fuck. Like All right, so we hear Michaela coughing behind the structure. He doesn't hear that, though. Did you guys hear it? I may have my in-game volume turned down way too low. No, they're looking slightly down. I can tell because there are minor bumps up and down. Like, you can tell there are moments when they're bumping. They're looking down so hard for scratches that they're maybe not seeing other types of movement. Damn, fire up pickup speed is fucking wild, dude. Whew. It's wild to me. Ah. It scared me. Not a bad match, 5 hooks. JC, you absolute shitbag. JC's the survivor who just ran through him. Absolute turd. It's endgame. I wouldn't expect anything else but camping. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you walk away, they get doors. It's a pain in the ass. I have so much trouble landing my Puka's Plague. The arc is interesting. If you can find where center screen is, it's not... Be patient. Good dead hard. Good dead hard. Saucy. Saucy. You have enough. You can land a good hit if you zone them well, but you should strafe over to Shack instead of checking the pool, because they didn't stay here. Yeah. Ain't no way they stayed. Interesting choice. I don't know that I... Yeah, aha! He caught someone out of the corner of his eye. Good work. Oh, that... Okay. Somebody cleansed right before he drank, and so it... That's weird. Oh, dude, yeah. Spectator... I don't know how it's such a broken mode, but it's bad. Ugh. That moonwalk usually doesn't work. They can see through the slats in the shack. Survivors who don't pay attention, maybe. Your best case scenario here is to... Yeah, your best case scenario is just to chase directly. The windows in the shack are too obvious. The Boon Circle of Healing, right? Getting a lot of value these days. It was very close. The idea was there. Yeah, so we're not quite tracking. Good job. JC's one of our better survivors here. Good work. Okay. We're going to try to condense our feedback down to like 7 or 8 minutes. Chat, what do you think the biggest things to work on here are for Horror Gamer? What do you guys think? If you had to name 3 things. There was a lot of good. There's a lot of good starting tendencies. So super proud of you there. You took on a good. You told them to go as hard as they could, and they didn't hold back. So you got some downs. You chased some good loopers. Your first chase was with JC. So be proud of yourself, man. Big pat on your back. Everybody give him some love for Beardy just coming through and trying to improve his plague. It's a big deal. It's very scary to do. So. I think the biggest things to talk about with regards to your match were talking... it was kind of about time efficiency, knowing where to place yourself. I think the second thing is audio. I don't know if you're using your headset for your PlayStation. I think you took that off so that you could hear me on your phone, and that definitely inhibited your match. So I don't know how true to form the match actually was. I noticed... there is a sort of tendency to drift a little wide around some of this. So I would just kind of keep an eye on that. You know, you could run this cider. I think you actually could have like maybe M1'd or got a little bit more, but you kind of drift wide. I was a little confused maybe why that is. Maybe to try to get a vomit angle or something like that. Also, be really careful with your looping. So really with any killer, so this if this is the edge of the map, and then you have this structure here, and then the pallet is right here, you don't want to loop the survivor in, because if they throw the pallet, then they get to run to the middle of the map. So as the killer, be sure that you're trying to rotate it so that the survivor, once they throw the pallet, would be up against the wall. That way, if you break it, they have to run around you in some direction to try to get away. That gives you the chance to be like back right on top of them without giving them too much sort of leeway. Running this pallet, you're not quite so fortunate, and you allow him to get to sort of he throws it, and now when he throws it, he gets to run to another pallet instead of being forced back into the dead corner or to have to go over here towards an edge. So that's something to be really aware of, is like directionally, if they throw it, where are they? Where does that put you? And can you keep up? I'd be careful about kicking gens if you don't have any perks that are going to help you with kicking gens. I don't think people will necessarily be afraid to run up to the gen and work on it if it's got some of the infection. So I don't know. I'm torn on stopping the kick gens. If you haven't hooked anybody, then I'd be very careful. So this is a moment where I would say keep a good stock of where all your gens are. So right now on this map, I'm just going to draw it as a square. It's not a square, but we're drawing it. This gen that we can see right here is out in this corner. And then you have a gen in this corner. I believe you have a gen way back here. You have one near main. You have one out here. This is the odd man out. So this is a big thing as killer. You coming all the way out here to vomit on this gen and maybe check it without any, you don't have eruption, you don't have brine. So even if you did see it, you come up, bop it, and then somebody pops out the locker and then they get working on it anyway. You don't really do anything for yourself, right? So you definitely don't want to put yourself in that position. So you can't see another gen on the horizon besides this one. Leave it alone. If we time it, so you down her 11:05. At 11:16, you get the hook. And then from 11:16 to 11:52. So they had a solid 35 seconds of free time. 36 seconds, somewhere around there, right? That's half a gen almost, right? In some cases. So there's times where just checking certain gens just doesn't make sense. They're so far gone. I think this gave them a lot of time. If this was an actual solo queue game, that would have been pain. That would have just been absolute destruction. So what I will say for Plague is this whole winging your camera thing, stop doing that. It's not helping you. It doesn't help a lot of people. It makes sense if you're going for distance, but if you're up close like this, you can 100% hit that shot with your normal aim. You don't have to be doing this whole blah, 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 blah. Because when you do that, the way the dots have been explained to me is working. So you see Plague's vomit here. It's real weird. The way it's been explained to me is that within this, there are dots of effectiveness. You can kind of see, I'm trying to draw them. So the more that you stretch these out, the more likely they are to just straight up miss and not hit anybody. On top of doing this, you can't see really obvious things because you're spinning your camera. So really obvious thing would be like, he's not crouching right now. He's just kind of in front of you. So you can just kind of go like a little bit lower. So you don't have to be doing that really at all. A lot of people do that in case they miss because it's hard to aim as Plague. Learn how to aim as Plague. It's so much easier than hoping that you hit somebody.